Let's get right back to our questions. We have Freya, who has a question for us this morning. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. I have a 14-year-old daughter going into 9th grade, and a good friend of mine also has a daughter this age, and the school of this daughter did send home a mass email and letter detailing out this TV show and really basically discouraging the watching of it completely. And I just wanted to know, for those parents that do receive communication from schools, what would you say to those schools instead of just the blanket?
Did you watch it?
I have not, but
Okay.
I'm going to.
Okay.
And
All right.
what would you say to these schools? And then how would you encourage parents to dialogue with these schools?
Again, I think the schools might be just a little bit behind, because I imagine that if you asked your student, they've already seen the show or at least know about parts of the show. This discourse, this conversation around the show is occurring on your student's campus.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Whether the
100%.
school's sent it home or not. Yeah.
So as parents, it's a great opportunity to start those discussions. Ask really direct questions. Are you thinking about killing yourself? Should we be worried about you or a friend? Do you have someone that you can talk to? Do you have someone that you can trust?
Yeah.
Ask,
And again, the whole point of this is to open up,
Yes,
open up
begin
that
the
dialogue.
dialogue.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, Alyssa?
I just want to know how it makes parents feel if their kid does have a mental illness, if their kid is watching this, it could be a really big trigger for them. So I want to know how y'all would handle that situation.
Yeah.
I watched 13 Reasons Why because I had parents calling me who were really concerned when they found out their children who had suicidal thoughts before were watching the show. And so I was really glad to be alerted to it. I got to watch it. I could have open conversation with my clients and with the parents. And I would encourage some parents to actually watch it so they could have discussions with their kids about it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Mario had an interesting comment.
I come from my kids. We're separated with their mom, and so I was wondering if there was any type of statistics showing that a teen was more likely to commit suicide coming from a single parent homes.
Any stats on that?
I think Heather and I both talked, and we're not familiar with any
Yeah,
stats.
yeah.
There might be stats out there.
It's kind of interesting though today because there were a few decades ago, if your parents were divorced, it was like wow, right? Because we were Ozzie and Harriet. Today it's kind of a normal thing, but
Also, I think the question would be what are the parents like together?
Yeah.
Because in my case, it was much better for my kids for us to be apart.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, this comes from somebody anonymously. What's the difference between self-harm cutting behaviors and suicidal thinking and intentions? What are better coping skills than cutting? We'll get into that in a second with you, but kind of the difference, because you've done that, right, Linda?
Right. Well, and actually, I never cut. I always went for the vein to end the whole thing.
Which cutting and actually going for the vein are two different things.
Exactly, because cutting is more, sometimes I think it's a cry for attention.
Yeah.
I think it's having some control over yourself.
In fact, I remember a girl who was a cutter. She said that her mother always told her she was a deep, dark hole and that she was not even alive and that she was trash. She said one day she was shaving her legs and she nicked herself and she saw this bright red against this very white skin, and she said, I am alive. And so that was kind of her reassurance that I'm worthy. So it's almost the opposite, saying I am worthy of being alive, as opposed to the committing suicide. All right, we'll be right back.